Hello, I am Ellie. I am one half of Tough Souls. There's normally Carl here standing much taller beside me. He's away at the moment, so I'm just going to film a quick video. We are normally walking all of Ireland's national waymarked trails, a trail network of 42 trails covering over 4,000 kilometres. This week I'm going to be giving a quick kind of beginner's rundown of a gear list, or what you should be thinking about when you're going shopping or organising your stuff before a kind of long distance walking trip. Okay, so I'm going to start with clothing. So with hiking clothing there's a lot of options. It can be very technical. It's really just about finding what's super duper comfortable for you. So in general I'd say don't wear any cotton, because as soon as cotton gets wet it just holds that moisture, it stays wet, be it sweat or rain. It's not a quick drying material. So cotton is a big no-no, because as soon as you get that moisture and the wet, it's gonna chafe if it's under your arms, if it's on your legs. Yeah, it's just not gonna hold up well. So no cotton. Instead, you should really look into synthetic fibers or merino wool kind of based garments. So synthetics, like your sports gear, it's made to dry super quickly. Like after it gets wet, as soon as there's a breeze, it'll start drying off. Admittedly, it doesn't smell great. Synthetic fibres aren't known to be smell resistant, but you're going to be a lot more comfortable in general. Merino wool is kind of that holy grail if you're looking for something that's quick drying, moisture regulating, but also doesn't really hold a smell. Merino is this magical fibre that somehow doesn't get smelly, so you can wear it for multiple days and not feel too gross. Also for hiking in Ireland, I really recommend wearing long full leg pants. There are a lot of trails here that go kind of through a lot of gorse and across mountainsides, and if you're wearing shorts you're a lot more prone to being bitten by bugs and insects and ticks, which can be carrying not so good diseases, and just offers that bit more protection. The once or twice that I've been tempted to wear shorts in the past couple of years on our trails, I've then immediately, like at the very start of the day, had to walk through a field full of nettles, and it was honestly the worst feeling of my life. Oh yeah, that was pretty terrible. You can get those fancy zip-off hiking pants, so whatever you can find that kind of works for you if you are looking for something that has that option for road sections where you can kind of let your legs breathe. That's great. For the first 6 months of our hiking project I was wearing kind of technical hiking pants, and I just hadn't been able to find ones that actually fit me perfectly. And after that 6 months, took a break. I was staying with my mum for a couple of days, and I put on an old pair of gym leggings. And I was going about doing stuff, and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe how comfortable I am. Like super duper comfortable, this is amazing. And since then I was like, oh, I don't care if people are looking at me or judging me for not wearing super technical hiking pants. These leggings are what I find incredibly comfortable, and I get ones that are made for running, so they are also pretty good at not holding the moisture. The fabric's pretty wicking and anti-sweat or something. Yeah, so it's a kind of a balance of finding what's super comfortable for you, made of the right material, and kind of going to be technical enough to get you through whatever you're doing. Also, same with socks, no cotton socks. You can get the best hiking boots in the world and then put on bad socks and the whole thing is just ruined. This is what I have also done many years ago when I first started hiking. I got really decent hiking shoes, and then I just bought cheap socks, and I was like, oh, these shoes are terrible, what's going on? Why are my feet so sore? Why are I getting blisters on my toes? But no, it was the socks, it wasn't the shoes at all. So good quality socks as well as good quality shoes. Or boots, or whatever you're wearing. Speaking of boots and shoes, we have done a whole blog and video on how to fit hiking boots. Just to give a quick overview, your street size shoe isn't necessarily going to be what you wear in hiking boots. In hiking boots, if your foot is exactly up to the edge of the boot, as soon as you're going downhill, your toes are going to, especially if it's for a while, they're going to be banging into the front of the boot. And that's how you lose toenails and end up with bruised toes and really gross. So you always want almost like my thumb's width, some people's finger width of space between your toe and the front of the boot. And it's really easy to measure that by taking the insole out of a hiking boot. Most of them are removable. Just putting your foot on top and just seeing how close it gets to the top. You also want it to kind of feel snug but not constrictive, because if it's already kind of constrictive when you're putting it on in a shop after a long day of hiking, they're going to feel very, very tight. And yeah, so make sure it's supportive and kind of hugging your foot without squishing it. Anyway, I'll link that video in the blog post below if you want to have a more in-depth overview of how to fit hiking boots and different hiking boots for different kinds of terrain. If you're getting a backpack, so like a 20, 30, 40, 60 litre backpack, whatever kind of size you're getting, there's a couple of really important things about fitting. So you want a bag that the length of the back kind of matches up with the length of your back, and a lot of bags these days are adjustable. And it took me a while to find one that actually hugged my hips correctly. So if you kind of think about it, the way your skeleton is laid out, your hips are made to carry the weight of your upper body. Your shoulders are not. So you want a bag that's really going to hug your hips, and when you pull in that hip belt, it's on your hips. And then suddenly the weight is off your shoulders. You're not feeling like you have to hunch over to carry this huge weight. It really makes such a difference. And I had to go through, well, of course, Carl started off with Osprey, which fit him perfectly and has had no problems, absolutely love them. I tried a couple of different brands before I also landed on Osprey, which fit me really well as well. We've also done a whole video on bags, so I'll make sure to link that below too if you're interested. But I'm kind of thinking that, so it depends how big a trip you're going on, how big a bag you want. So I'd say if you're kind of doing like a hike where you're going hostel to hostel to hostel, you wouldn't need more than 30 litres, as long as you pack really well. So clothing wise, when we're going out hiking, we bring 2 pairs of pants each and maybe 3 tops. Because Ireland is just so wet and everything gets so wet quite quickly, we bring 4 or 5 pairs of socks. That's kind of where we splurge out, and then however many underwear we feel is necessary. So that's how we kind of keep our bags light and small. If you are doing a hostel to hostel style trip, you won't need to buy a big sleeping bag or anything, but you can get a sleeping bag liner, and these can be like cotton, or you can get linen ones as well. And it's just it looks like a sleeping bag. You can either get it in the kind of mummy style or kind of a big square thing, and it's just an extra layer that you can have between you and the hostel beds. So if some hostels don't provide full bedding, or if you just prefer to have something that you know against your skin, these can be a really, really good option. They kind of keep you in your own little bubble in a bed, so it's not super, super hot. You're not adding that extra layer of a duvet, you're just adding a thin layer to keep you clean and whatever. Also, yeah, make sure you bring bug spray. And this isn't something that we actually quite often forget. It's not necessary to use DEET. I have tried a couple of ones that are specifically for midges for when you're in Ireland. I think some people call them gnats in other country. They're like teeny bugs. They're not mosquitoes and they're not horseflies. And their bites don't always swell up the same way as other insects, but there's like thousands of them descend upon you and they're horrible. I haven't actually found a good spray for midges, so if you have, please let me know. But it's well worth investing in that kind of a thing. Once you find one that works for whatever animal you're trying to fight off, keep your skin as itch-free as possible. If you do get a lot of bites, antihistamines are great. Again, if you're doing the hostel style travel, it might be worth bringing a travel towel, which are like microfiber towels. They're super lightweight, super thin, and you can get them quite small, so that as you're drying yourself off, it's also somehow magically drying, and no matter how wet you are, the towel is always just drying and drying and drying. They're really, really useful. We have a pretty big green one because I have quite a lot of hair. It takes a lot to dry it, but yeah, they're super, super useful. Always have a torch somewhere in your bag. Things can always kind of go wrong, so make sure you have a torch in case you end up walking later in the night than you want to, or if you drop something down a hole. It's really important to have a couple of basic necessities. And if you're going on a specific hiking route, there might be lists available, so make sure you kind of plan ahead and prepare according to these lists or information available. A small first aid kit is also pretty important, and physical maps as well. Maps that don't have a battery and can't die, I find really, really useful, especially some trails in some countries, the routes are already kind of marked in with a red dotted line. In Ireland, a lot of the National Wingmart trails are marked in on the OSI maps, the Ordnance Survey maps. So they're kind of pretty easy to follow once you kind of get the hang of it. Really recommend physical maps. Also, I can't not mention that there is toughsoles.ie/maps if you're looking for some free maps on the Irish National Wingmark trails. So you can check those out below as well. I have found, and this is kind of an odd one, but if you get like chafing either under your arms or wherever with whatever clothes you're wearing, try buying roll-on deodorant and applying it to your skin. This has been kind of a very recent revolution. I'm still trying it out and it seems to be pretty decent at stopping chafing and rubbing. So if you have those problems, make sure you try out some roll-on deodorant, because what's really important is just about keeping yourself comfortable. As soon as you start being uncomfortable and stop enjoying something, you're not going to be paying attention to what's around you. You're just kind of focused on yourself and getting out of this environment. So it's really important to keep yourself comfortable, be it with enough layers. Oh yeah, layers are really important in Ireland. The weather, because it fluctuates so crazy, you need to bring layers. So we both carry a jumper, a rain jacket, then our t-shirts, a buff for when it gets cold, and a hat. And it can get quite annoying taking all these things on and off and on and off, but it's really good and really important to kind of maintain like a stable body temperature and not kind of get a chill if you've just been doing loads and loads of hiking uphill, and then you get to the top of the mountain and there's a huge breeze blowing through and suddenly you're standing there shivering. Yeah, you really need to kind of monitor that kind of a thing. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't know, let me know if you have any tips for people who are just getting into backpacking. What kind of clothing and what kind of gear list they should have. Let me know if I've forgotten anything that I should have included, or if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. We only have 2 trails left, really excited. We're going to be starting the Beara Way in the next few days, then we'll be on to the Wicklow Way, and that'll be it. So we are finally, gonna have walked all these National Wingmark trails. It's really exciting. As always, at the end of every video, I like to say a huge thank you to everybody who supports us on Patreon. Patreon is a crowdfunding platform, and these people support us every month and keep working and building on this project, which is amazing, and we couldn't thank you all enough. It's been absolutely wonderful. And so this week I'd like to say a special thank you to Nigel McMorris, Colin Wishker and Alan Grant. Your support has been, thank you so much. Really thank you. Also, actually, I want to say thank you to Shawnee Ryan. We were on his radio show recently. He's also one of our patrons. We were on his radio show. So cool. It's called the Footwear. There's a podcast version of it. We were talking about all the technology that we use while hiking to do all this blogging and vlogging and all this kind of stuff that we have to carry with us to make this whole project happen. So I'll leave that link also down in the description. And yeah, thank you to all of our patrons. You're all wonderful people. Thank you for watching this video. I know not everybody can support us the same way that people do on Patreon, but if you give this a share and a like, we really appreciate it. And I guess very soon it will be on the Beara Way. Okay, bye bye. Walking, I guess? No. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of start. Oh god. It's been a while since I did the whole talking to the camera thing, so it's being a little trickier than usual, but anyway.